Hey, Nickie Brown. Hey, no matter where you are and what part of the world you're in, I hope that you're having a good day. Everybody has their moments. Everybody has their triggers. And some people choose to do the right thing and some people don't. And some people choose to do the right thing with certain people that they feel will hold them accountable. But then if it's somebody like um, that they basically don't respect, they don't treat them that same way. They would treat someone that they do respect. And this could be familiar relationships, it could be romantic relationships, it could be uh, work relationships. So let's talk about relationships. There are some people who don't cheat and have never cheated. There are some people who cheat, always have, and always will. So some people who cheated, they learned and they decided not to anymore. But it's all about a decision. You never know what a person is going through. So, people experience financial hardships, emotional um, um, traumas. Um, People have different issues with living arrangements or whatever it is. You never know what somebody's going through. Like a few months back, there was a young man who went into the parking lot, the employee parking lot, and took himself out. And he worked for a very popular airline. And they say that at least 3 people have done that within the past few years who works for this same particular airline. And I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm not even going to blame it on the airline, because there are lots of industries, like attorneys seem to do this. Some people I think are good at handling stress and some are not. And some may be good at handling stress in certain moments, and then they may be going through something and then that changes for them. And so again, you never know what somebody's going through that could be triggering them to maybe respond in a way that they would not normally respond. Some people feel pressure. Some people feel inadequate or insecure. Some people feel like they're doing too much or not enough. Every situation is different. And those thoughts, though, usually are the driving factor of behavior, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And again, sometimes it's easy for people to hold it together and sometimes it's not. Some people need to scream. Some people need to cry. Some people need to write. Some people need to laugh. And again, you never know how a person is going to respond to certain stressors in their life, because everybody is different. Everybody has a different personality. It's not up to us to judge someone and say how they should or should not respond, right? And just because they don't respond the way another person would respond doesn't mean that they're not good enough or they're inadequate or whatever it is. But if a person is made to feel that way, that can add to the stress, right? And a lot of times people don't take things like that into consideration, because there's a cause and effect for everything. And a lot of people don't look at the cause, they just look at the subsequent behavior. And that is unfortunate in a whole lot of situations, because otherwise good people can become bitter or angry or distant or standoffish or whatever it is that they need to make them feel comfortable. I had someone say to me today, I'm sick of this shit. In regard to a certain situation. And that's the whole thing. A lot of times people get sick of bull. Like, no matter, again, what type of relationship it is, people know what they're doing, right? And again, you might have somebody who, like, for example, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody and they're the sweetest person in the world when they're around their coworkers or with certain people, and then when they get home they become a monster. And so that's not really how you are or who you are. You're just introducing people to your representative, but then that representative comes out because people find it hard to be something that they're not for extended periods of time, all day, every day, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, or 24/7 as they say, right? And I know people respond accordingly. If they're around somebody and it's like, you're not really like that. Why is it that you're kind to this person, but you're not kind to that person, right? I'm doing my best to find the words without saying the words, if that makes sense, right? And I'm doing my best not to use myself as an example or something that I've been through. I'm going to have to use an example so that you understand what I'm talking about, because it probably sounds very vague if you don't understand what I'm saying. I had an ex who all his co-workers thought he was the sweetest person in the world. And again, you know, they say you always hurt the ones you love, right? When he was around, he would become a monster. And it was like to the public and in the public eye, certain people can be, you know, they pretend to be sweet because they're not really sweet. They're actually mean, right? And they will be mean to other people behind closed doors. And when it comes out, it's a little narcissistic actually. And when it comes out to other people, people will defend that person and say, oh, that person's not really like that. That person is really sweet. What do you mean? What are you talking about? But these are the type of people that could show up as like serial killers, right? Because they put themselves out, portray themselves in a certain light to the public, but they're not really like that. And behind they closed door, you know, they pretend, oh, they're church going and they're just the sweetest angels you could ever meet. And in the meantime, they drink and smoke and cuss and do all kinds of stuff that is the complete opposite of who they're saying they are or who they're pretending to be. Right? And for myself personally, when I see injustice and I see unfairness and I see people being fake, it's kind of hard for me to pretend with them, because I see who you are and I know who you are, and it kind of makes me a little angry. Especially if I feel like I'm not able to really say anything. And so I may indirectly say something. Which is not good, because it could borderline being passive aggressive. And I try not to do that. But with some people, you can't speak directly to them, especially if they're narcissistic. Because they will excuse it, they will justify it, they never see anything wrong with it, and they will never be accountable and responsible for their wrongdoing. Again, they're the cause and this is the effect. So again, you have some people who will always do the right thing, and then you have some people who do the right thing conditionally, because again, if triggered, what might have been the right thing now becomes something else, because now they're triggered. And so their response is different, not because they're not that same person, but because the environment that they're in has shaped their responses. And I hope that that made sense. I did my best to explain it the best way that I could. I may have to touch on this topic again and elaborate a little bit more. But of course, as always, I love y'all. I have another topic that I've been wanting to discuss. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Love y'all. Later. Mwah.